What's up guys, welcome to Mount Molgraph. Today's video is a train system build, so Summit 11 train system build. It was supposed to be a Harry Potter animation, like the train going across the tracks to like Hogwarts or whatever, but as I was making it, I realized, holy crap, there's a ton to cover. So I ended up just putting this together because like each video I put up, I want you guys to learn something and I want to like build off the skills we used before. So I hope you guys appreciate that. But yeah, so this one isn't what I wanted to do, but it's something we kind of need to do because there's a ton actually going on in this. You know, if you're newer to Cinema 4D, there's like a lot going on, and I'm gonna basically walk you through the basic modeling, Cinema 4D targeting tags, and the align to spline tag, parenting objects in a hierarchy for dynamics, the spline wrap deformer, creating this dynamic piston that kind of changes with the rotation. We're going to be using a symmetry object to create this real quick, and this low poly smoke emitter is also something we'll cover, which looks pretty cool. As you can see, these are like these die and it looks sweet. So, and then we're also going to cover some basic espresso, and also we'll use the stage to animate multiple cameras. So there's a lot you can learn for this from this video that you can like apply to your own stuff. So I highly recommend watching it. It's going to be a little different than my other videos, unfortunately. You know, we're not going to even add materials or colors to this. We're just going to like cover like the like all what I just said, basically. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on that you should be able to use for your own stuff. So this video is hopefully not going to be too long. But yeah, we're going to go through it and see what we can make, and hopefully you guys learned something. So yeah, let's go up into our primitives, select the oil tank, rotate this 90 degrees. We'll scale it down a little bit. Press C to make it editable. Just drag it out so you kind of get this looking shape. Go and press F2 to go into your top view. Select your polygon mode. Go into your rectangular selection and just grab this front portion. Let's see, I'll grab a couple more. Whoopsie. Oh, sorry. Also go into your attribute manager and unclick this only select visible elements button. And so now when we do this, it's actually going to select all the elements that are not visible in our view. So as you can see, you get like a perfect cut, which is nice. So let's press T on our keyboard to bring up our scale. Hold Command and just drag this out. And that will look good. So now we have kind of the front portion of our train, as you can see. Now let's make a cylinder. Rotate this 90 degrees, scale it up just a little bit, and we'll just drag it back. You know, like this is just covering like my workflow for building stuff, so it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to try to go through this pretty quick so we can get into the good stuff of this video, you know? But I just want to show you guys how to make this in case you're watching this video and need to know how to make a little train or something. So yeah, let's see. Let's just make this over here. Just drag this, go into your top view, which is F2. I use like the different views a lot just when I'm modeling stuff, just to like easily size things properly. So this is going to be like the bottom portion of our train. Oh, whoopsie, I'll go into my right view. Just move this down a little bit. Cool. So yeah, that's going to be the bottom, like the bed of the train, and we'll attach wheels to that. You know, so this video is not so much about the build as it is about the content. So last time I say that, I promise. So let's duplicate the cube. Hold Command on your keyboard and drag it out in your object manager. We're gonna scale it up and just make like the back like little place where the operator will sit. You know, I'm also not a train engineer, so I'm just kind of guessing at what stuff looks like. So if you are a train engineer and you're like, that is all wrong, that's why. So yeah, you know, I might even stop right there. Actually, I'll show you guys just how to cut out windows real quick, and then we're just going to be using this as our train body because, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on this crap. So now with that cube. Sorry, and I also didn't name these, but I'll be sure to name stuff as we go into the rest of the video, just because this is the beginning portion. So this cube, that's going to be where the operator sits. Just hold Command and drag that out to create a duplicate, and press T on your keyboard and scale it down just a little bit, and also drag it back a little bit. So you can kind of see it sticks out of our box. So now go into your array objects and grab a bool. just drag this down to the bottom and drag both your cubes into them. And as you can see, we have now cut out like a little box in there. So that's going to be where our operator will sit, which is cool. So now let's make some windows. Just create another primitive cube, and we'll make this editable. And I'm just going to, whoopsie, press C to make it editable if you didn't know that. I'm going to just scale this up on the Z axis, I don't know. Go into your MoGraph, select the cloner object, drop that this new cube we created into the cloner. Whoopsie. And what the hell is that? Oh, I guess I duplicated it, which was stupid of me. But anyway, so on our cloner, go into your cloner attributes, and we are going to just change it from going out on the y-axis to going out on the x-axis. Axis. Man, I hate that word. So now move your cloner, or grab your cloner, press C to make it editable. Right click and go down to select children. Right click one more time and go to connect objects and delete. For the rest of the video, that's where you can grab them. Is just right click and go grab them if I say it. But I like docked all of them just over here, stuff I use a lot. So that's probably what I'll be using but I'll be sure to tell you. It's just quicker like that. So basically put them around this area. Grab another bool object, and we're going to be putting the cloner as well as our, whoopsie, there we go. So basically you're going to take the bool that we cut out this inside of the circle thing in, and then we're going to also grab the cloner object, which is, as you can kind of see, these rectangles that are going to be the windows, and just drag them both into the bool. So then we have this kind of quick little back window caboose thingy. And then last step for this thing is we're going to drag our cube out one more time. The one, whoopsie, we want actually, so grab this this bool one more time, and we're going to drag that out, and it's going to fill in our windows again, but this way we can add a glass texture to it. So I'll just make a quick object just to show you guys, and I'll put this on that bool, scale it down a little bit. Whoopsie. So just move this back. Nice. So we've now created a window. Let's see. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. So basically that's how you cut out windows and add textures to them in a nice, easy way. You know, this isn't a perfect model, but like I said before, it's just going to be basically going through this real quick and showing you guys how to create some cool stuff. So let's go up into our primitives and select a cylinder. Rotate this 90 degrees, and we are going to, let's see, just press C to make it editable, and we're going to just make kind of a wheel, basically. And you can spend way more time adding details to all of this, but I want to keep this video a little short so no one is bored to death. So hold command. Also, sorry, before we do the wheel, let's just group our this whole body thing together. So just grab all your items, press Alt G on your keyboard to group them, and we're just going to name this train body. And we won't be messing around with that anymore. And like I said, let's start naming stuff. So I'm going to call this this one wheel. So with your traffic lights right here, just press Alt on your keyboard and click them twice, and it's going to just hide our train so we can really focus on this awesome looking wheel. So now on your wheel, hold command and drag that out one more time. So nothing happens because it's a duplicate. Drag that out a little bit. We're going to scale it down, press T on your keyboard. Just move it over to about this point, or actually, sorry, move it over to where it's on the wheel. We're going to scale this up. And this is going to be like the hinge for our little pistons that were in the original video. And this is going to be where it gets a little cool. So this wheel to one copy, I'm going to call this hinge. Okay, or hinge. I spelled that really wrong. Hinge. Okay, so now duplicate your hinge and rotate this 90 degrees. And we're now going to oopsie. So now scale this up quite a bit. I'm gonna, That looks just pretty good to me. And just move it. Yeah, that looks good. So now basically get this kind of look to it. Now press L on your keyboard or click this enable axis modification button right here. And we're just going to now move our axis over to about the center of our little hinge. So that looks cool to me. Now what we need to do is duplicate our hinge. So, and then rotate this 90 degrees, or 180 degrees, sorry. Move this over here, scale it down a little bit just so it's smaller. So this is going to be basically how we create that cool effect. And that looks good. So now let me show you something that's pretty cool. What we need to do is take our wheel and we're going to parent the hinge to the wheel. So just drag it into the wheel. So now as you can see, it's inside the wheel. So if I was to spin the wheel, the object moves with it. And now we need to take our hinge 1, which I should actually call, what should I call this? Big, whatever this would be. Big piston maybe? And then I'll call the other one small piston. Super creative over here. So I'll drag my big piston now into my hinge. So now if I was to rotate my wheel, let's see, it all moves together. Now the one thing I want to do is make it so these two things are always going to be connected, because the small piston is going to be attached to its own wheel. So I guess I should do that now. I'm just going to drag this wheel, press E on my keyboard to bring up my move tool, and hold command and drag it out just to like the end of our small piston. You're going to have to go and delete your big piston on that duplicate. And let's see. Cool. So that looks fine to me. The small piston I will drag into my hinge of the duplicated wheel. And as you can see, it looks like we have a whole bunch going on right now. But we're going to have to add a target tag in order for when we rotate our wheel for the pistons to stay connected. And that's going to be our first cool little tip for the day. So on your small piston, right click it and go to Cinema 4D tags and go to target tag. Now on your target tag, just make sure it's selected. It's a little tag right here. Drag your big piston into your target object. So immediately this happens and it's pointing somewhere funny. And what we're going to do is grab your enable axis modification, and we're just going to rotate our axis 90 degrees until it's facing the right way on our piston. And that just comes down to if your normals of your axis are like facing a different way, because we move that object a bunch. So now if I was to spin this wheel, it's always going to be facing the big piston. So as you can see, that's pretty cool. So let's grab this target tag and hold command to duplicate it and drag it onto your big piston. And now we're going to drag our small piston onto the new duplicated target expression. And as you can see, we get a similar situation where it starts facing the wrong way. So once again, press L on your keyboard or click this little button over here, your enable axis modification, and just rotate this until it's facing the right way. I hold shift so it moves in 10 degree increments. And there we go. So now our piston rig is all set up. And let's see what happens. So if I was to move this, I'm spinning it right now, as you can see. Our pistons will always stay connected. And also if I move this one, our pistons stay connected. So that is a really, really cool way to create a dynamic animation, because now I can move my wheels all over the place and it looks like they're always connected. So I'm actually going to move it out just a little bit, and there we go. So that is going to be our piston animation. What we're going to want to do now is make these always spin. And the easy way to do this is to right click either of the wheels and go to Cinema 4D tags and down to Espresso. Now this is where a lot of people get scared of Cinema 4D, but this can really, really help what you're doing. So with that said, let's make a really, really simple expression. We're going to grab our wheel 1 into our Espresso window. Let's see. And we're also going to sorry, we're also going to grab our wheel, our just regular wheel, into Xpresso. Okay, so now that we have our objects in here, what we're going to want to do is click your blue side over here, go to basic properties, or sorry, go to coordinates, and go down to rotation, and do rotation P, which is going to be the pitch of our object. And our pitch is, an easy way to tell is if you go into your coordinates here, you see H, P, and B, and our pitch, this is how you tell what you want to animate. We actually have to make these -9, whoopsie. There we go. So basically, sorry, one more little thing is you're going to want to change it to 90 degrees up on your H and -90 degrees on your B, which is banking, and I don't remember what this H stands for. But that way, when you spin your pitch, it's going to spin in a circle. So that's one more thing you have to set up. So sorry, I forgot to mention that. And also go over to your other wheel and put 90 degrees for H and -90 degrees for banking, just so that way our pitch is affecting our spin. So now in your Xpresso window, right click this, go to coordinates, rotation, rotation P. So now we have our pitch. What we're going to want to do now is add a new node. So right click anywhere, go to new node, Xpresso, or sorry, new node, Xpresso, general, and time. So that is going to be our first thing, and we only have to add one more little window and this will be all set up. So what we're going to want to do is right click, new node, Xpresso, go down to general, go down to, let me find where this is, calculate, sorry, so new node, Xpresso, calculate math. And so this is where you can add lots of different stuff, which is really cool for other animations, but for our animation, just click this little node and go into your attribute manager over here and change your function to multiply. Okay, so we're all set up, and now all we have to do is drag our time to the input 1 of our multiply and drag the output of our multiply to rotation of the wheel 1 and rotation to our regular wheel. So cool. Some stuff happened behind our window that is not important right now, and basically now click your math multiply, and if you were to change this parameter to 1, that's going to mean over the course of the time, it's going to be constantly spinning. So boom, check that out. We now have a super easy spinning animation, and this is like something I didn't keyframe anything, and it's going to spin at the same speed for forever. So, and also the cool thing is our hinges are always going to stay connected. So as it gets farther away or closer away, these could be at different like points. It's kind of hard to tell in this one. So what I could actually do is go to the beginning of my animation and just drag my hinge of the small piston and just like move this to a different point. Maybe like down, I don't know, it doesn't matter that much. So that won't change anything. And if I press play, you'll actually see the hinge has to like expand or contract, because now they're spinning at different speeds, or not different speeds, but just different points of the wheel. So that looks kind of cool. And that's something I hope you could use for, I don't know, if you have to make a train, for example. But yeah, so that's how you do it. So I'm going to press the traffic signals one more time, holding Alt on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag my wheel. Also, I'm going to pause this animation just because that's distracting. So I'm going to just drag my wheel over to the side of my train. I'm going to go into my top view just so I can get it right up on my train. This isn't going to be perfect, like I said. This is just for showing you guys how to make this cool thing. And then go into my right view and just position the wheels so they're actually on the train. So there we go. We have this cool thing happening. Where if I was to play this, there we go. Our train looks like it's doing something right now, and that is awesome. Okay, so now what we need to do is add a smokestack. Don't worry about the other side of the wheels. I'll show you a really easy way to make them. So, okay, this video is not going to be too much longer, but this should still cover a lot of cool stuff. So let's go into our primitives and drag a tube object out onto the screen. Just scale it down, go into your attributes, object. We'll make our outer radius smaller and our inner radius larger. Kind of hard to tell from far away, but that looks good to me. And I'm going to turn the height up. So boom, just like that, we have a smokestack, and I am totally okay with that. So that looks cool. I'm going to actually name the smokestack, just so we know. Put this over there. And great. So we have the start of a pretty decent looking train. It's pretty fancy. And now I think every train has, at least unless it's like an electronic Japanese one, is or a monorail or something, is a smokestack. So go into your simulate and go down to particles and grab an emitter and drag this up and rotate it 90 degrees. You want the blue arrow to be facing up. So if you press E, you would just want the blue one to be facing up, just like this. And I'm going to scale it down a little bit. And I'm going to keep it floating just a little bit above my smokestack, just so I don't have to play around with simulation tags and dynamics and stuff, and the smoke doesn't go like through the smokestack. So right off the bat, if I was to press play, we're going to see some particles flying up out of the emitter, which looks pretty cool. And what we're going to want to do is create our own objects to put on this emitter. So what we're going to do is go into our emitter tags, or go click your emitter, and also just however long your timeline is, I would just change the stop emission to whatever that is. So for me, it's going to be 20 seconds. Next, go into primitives and drag a platonic out of the little selection, and just see, like, check your size and see if it looks something. So each of these platonics is going to be one of the particles that will be coming out of this emitter. So now drag your platonic or whatever object you chose into your emitter, and now go in and click your emitter and go to show objects. So the platonic disappears, but if I was to play my animation, the platonic appears. So now all the particles are going to be substituted for our platonic objects, and this is going crazy, and it's slowing down my computer a ton because now we have hundreds of objects. So this is going to be where we're going to tweak our settings in the emitter just a little bit. So we're going to want our lifetime of the particles from our emitter to be way shorter. I would put it at 2.5 seconds. You know, like, so this way, as they come out, they'll be dying. Like, they won't go up on the screen forever. I guess this is where 2.5 seconds hits, but they'll start disappearing. So now go back into your emitter, and we're going to change the end scale of our particles to 0. So this means over the course of their life, they're going to be getting smaller, which looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So now I'm actually going to move my emitter up a little bit so it still has this kind of look. So let's make our speed variation a little different, so they come out at different speeds. The lifetime, just turn this up to maybe like 60, so some might last longer, some might die sooner. Rotation, maybe turn this up to like 140. No, that's way too high. Turn it up to like 60, and the 60, and the variation to maybe like 50. So some will be spinning a little bit, and that looks pretty cool. Is it coming out too fast? I would actually slow down the speed of this a little bit as well. So that's going to be under your speed. So just turn this down. I'm gonna maybe, that's too slow. I'm trying to find that golden number. So I kind of like, let's see, I'll set it to 42, and I'm gonna guess. Cool. So it depends on whatever you like, but like I said, this can be used for tons of other stuff. This is just like quick way to show you guys. So now just drag I'm going to use the same material I used for the window, and I'm just going to drag this onto my platonic or my emitter. And now we have these cool smoke things that come out of our train. And press R on my keyboard and check that out. So this all moves, and like, we didn't have to keyframe too much, which is great. And we're going to have a nice little rig ready to go. So on your train body, what we're going to do is, so click everything except your emitter. So click your wheel 1, your smokestack, and your train body, and press Alt-G on your keyboard to group those into a null. So now they're all in one object, and obviously if I press play, it still all happens. So instead of going and copying and pasting the wheels on this side, which would have to change our espresso tags and they'd probably be spinning the wrong way as well if I was just to copy paste them, we're going to go and grab an array object and a symmetry object. So a symmetry object will duplicate whatever object you drop in it, um, like that. But obviously this looks super stupid, or does it look super awesome? I don't know. So anyway, that's basically what it's good for, and it's going to do it along certain axes. So it's going to do it along like the middle of the Y, the middle of the Z, or the middle of the X. And for us, we're going to want the mirror plane to be not XZ, XY. So all of a sudden we have wheels on the other side of our object. Check that out. So now if I press play, I didn't have to do anything, but we have this really nice little animation going on. So I promise, it took me a second to get into the flow of this Cinema 4D stuff. I haven't used it for like a week and a half, and you get rusty. So yeah, so there we go. We have our wheels spinning, we have smoke that comes out. Now what we need to do is put this onto a spline so it can drive around. So let's pause this because it's just kind of a waste, and we're going to now group all of that stuff into another null, and I'm just going to call this train. Seems like a good name, and obviously it still will all play just fine. And let's create a new material, and I'm just going to drag that on there, and everything should change except for our transparent materials. But this way we don't have that super boring gray. We have this new super modern white train with what's supposed to be transparent smoke coming through there. So now let's build our train track. This is going to be using a cloner object, but I'm going to show you this really cool way to make the train tracks bend, which is actually harder than you think. So let's create a new primitive and just kind of create like a rectangle. That looks fine. And duplicate it. Actually, what I should do is go into my top view, and let's just set this up so they're going to be like on the same part of where the wheels are. So this way that our train will fit on our track very easily, and we don't have to later go back and change it. Check that out. It's like I know what I'm doing. Let's not say that. I actually have no idea what's going on. So let's see. I'm just going to duplicate the cube, and let's see. This will be like the bottom of the tracks, or the rails, I think they're called, actually. Scale this down a little bit. And this is, once again, not going to be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. This is going to be like, wow, I learned a lot. So stick with it. We're almost there. Just duplicate those. Hold Command on your keyboard. And there you go. So, whoa, what the hell does that happen with that? So yeah, we're just about there. So hold Command, drag it out. That's how you duplicate stuff real quick. Drag all these little cubes and into a new null object. So press Alt-G. I'm going to call this track. And I'm going to go press C on my go to right click, select children, press C on my keyboard to make them editable, right click, select children, and right click, connect objects, and delete. Boom. So now we have one solid object that is going to be our track. So let's drop our track into a cloner. So go to MoGraph, cloner, and drop your track in. So immediately we get this stupid stack coming out of it. We're just going to change it from Y to X. And there we go. We have a whole bunch of duplicates. So I think each of the tracks was 100. No, it was not. So basically just drag it out till it looks about right. You can have a little overlap if you want, or if you remember how long each of your segments was, just make it the same number. And so let's see. So now if I turn my cloner on, like this with the count, I can create like an infinite track, which is cool. But how do I put that onto a path? So at first I thought what you can do is grab a circle and like a spline. It can really be any spline. I'm just going to grab a circle for ease of this video. And if I went to what did I do before? I don't even remember now. Oh yeah, so going to your cloner. This is the wrong way to do it, by the way. So I'll just show you how to do the wrong way, I guess, because I'm really helpful. But basically, I thought like, okay, so if I drag my spline into my objects, that will do this right. But obviously this is not right. And then I thought, okay, what if I go to my transform and like turn it so it'll be like this, and then turn my object, my count back up until it connects. Oh, I made a track, and then like looking at it, this looks like crap. Like this is not something that, like this train would just crash and burn and get destroyed if I kept it like that. So Command Z a whole bunch, and I will show you what I ended up doing to create a track on this circle. So basically, you can draw any spline you want. I'm going to do a circle just for now, and then I'll show you how it works on other stuff as well. So now, put the circle and the cloner into a new null object, Alt-G, and I'm going to call this track circle. Okay, or spell it like that, I guess. Go into your deformers and grab your spline wrap, drop your spline wrap into your track circle, and grab your circle spline, or whatever spline you're using, into your spline wrap properties. So that went a little funny. Oh, drag your circle and actually pull it out of that null. There we go. Sorry. So now my cloner is looking a little bit better. We still have these like kind of jagged looking connections, and what that is going to be is under our spline wrap mode, change that to keep length. So instead of stretching out, it's going to keep the length of each of your clones. So now if I was to turn the count of my clones up, which I will, just to make it fill in the rest of the circle, you want to come pretty close, like till before it starts to overlap. Like if you go up too much, you'll start to duplicate the track and get that weird line. So I like to just get it close like that, and then go back into my spline wrap and turn the mode to fit spline. And so now we have this really nice track, and it's on a curve, but it actually doesn't look crazy. So that looks pretty dang good, doesn't it? So now all we're going to do is align our, so still if I play this video, we got our train chugging away. Okay, I thought the wheels were going backwards for a second. So our train is still doing its thing, and now obviously needs a track. So let's duplicate our circle, and I'm going to call this train path. And this is going to be spline wrap path. There we go. So now I'm going to click my train, right click, Cinema 4D tags, align to spline tag, and drag my train path into that tag. So now my train moves over here, which looks pretty stupid. It's like on the track. And change this to tangential. Tangential. I don't know. Whatever this one is, basically it makes it so as the spline turns, the object will turn as well. So now we're going to use our axis modification one more time. Press that or press L on your keyboard, and we're just going to, rotate our object, supposedly, until it is like facing the right way on the track, roughly. So cool. And now just move your train path up a little bit until the wheels look like they're on the track. And that looks all right. Maybe down a little bit as well. So yeah, this is still a basic video, you know, like this is still a basic animation where like the wheels don't stay perfectly on the track, because we'd have to get into like some way more advanced stuff like right off the bat, and we will down the road. But like right now, I just want to keep it a little bit simpler and make videos that are actually helpful or can teach people some cool stuff. So yeah, that's it. So go into your align to spline path on your train and just press Command and click your position. And now go to the end of your animation and just maybe make your position. Oh, whoopsie, I have my train facing the wrong way. So press L on your keyboard if you had the same situation and just rotate it 180 degrees so it's facing the right way. So now go to the end of your animation, and I'm going to just turn my position up to like the other side of this path. And if from far away it looks like it's on the path, but I mean if you zoom in on this, like the wheels aren't perfectly aligned, as you can see. They're coming off the track a little bit. But like the thing is, would have to get into some simulation like dynamics actually, which would take up a lot of time, and I think it's kind of a lot to just jump into. But this looks decent, you know, like you can spend more time on it and get something better. But as I play this video, I've got the wheels spinning and smoke coming out of the stack, and it looks pretty decent. So if you did this and aligned it to the spline and the wheels aren't spinning fast enough, here, I'll actually just make a camera real quick. Whoopsie. And go into my camera, and I'll just put it like that, and then drag your camera into your train. So now as it moves along the path, the camera will just stay on it, which is a cool little tip. So as this is playing, like the wheels might not look like they're moving at the right speed. So all you're going to have to go and do is go into your, which one is it? Into your espresso tag again, and just go into your multiply of your math function. And if you turn that up, like, I mean, you can crank it up to like going absolutely nuts. So the higher this number is, the more the multiplication is. So I turned it to 2, and now it's going to spin a little bit faster. But yeah, just turn this number up, and that'll be like your fake acceleration. So 2 seems to look pretty good. And yeah, so that is our basic setup of our animation. So I'm actually going to show you one more thing, which is going to be the stage tool, which is really, really, really helpful for animation and can really help your stuff. So right now, I'll do a quick preview. But yeah, like this looks pretty cool for how much time we spent on it, and I hope you guys learned something. We covered a lot, actually, like looking back on it. I think I went through a ton of stuff. But now I'll show you one more thing, and that'll be that. So let's go into whatever these objects, I don't even know what to call these, and grab your stage object, which is a weird tool to use at first. So now just grab your camera, this first camera, and drop it into your camera spot right here, and press Command on your keyboard, and the circle will turn red. So that means that obviously as the train moves, my camera is going to stay perfectly on it. But let's say halfway through this animation, like here, I want to switch to a different camera. Well, first hold Alt and unclick your stage things, and also make it hidden. Whoopsie. Sorry, so now just click out of your camera, the one that's stuck on your train or inside your train, with this little X thingy, and we're just going to make another camera. So let's say I wanted to go to like a wide shot over here. So I'll just create a new camera, call this WS for wide shot, go back into my stage, and at this point of the animation, all you have to do is drag your wide shot into your camera position. It's going to turn yellow. Press Command on your keyboard and click the circle. So now, if we're going to hold Alt and unclick your traffic lights, as I play this animation, it'll actually, as we get up to this point of the animation, it's going to switch to my other camera. So let's see if it does it. Yep. So there we go. That's how you create the stage, and that's how you use it for your animations. So yeah, I covered a lot in this video. I know it's kind of not what you guys might have expected. Normally I try to do like whole projects that end up looking alright, but in order for us to make cool videos down the road, we kind of have to cover all of this like basic build stuff. And yeah, I got some great videos coming out soon. I'm sure I have some cool ideas. But yeah, so sorry that wasn't like what you guys might have expected for this week. But I really hope someone liked it, and that's about it. So get your learn on, and this was Matt with Mount MoGraph. See ya.